Next, Ouattara and Gbagbo meeting for the first time since they disputed an election a decade ago in Ivory Coast that saw the country then descend into civil war. This meeting, some say, could be the start of a national reconciliation process in spite of the bad blood that still exists between the two men. Laurent Gbagbo's refusal to recognise his defeat back in 2010 triggered a sequence of violence that claimed at least 3,000 lives. Estimates, though, say the death toll was far higher. The upshot saw Gbagbo sent before the International Criminal Court, where he was acquitted this year. Well, Alassane Ouattara and Laurent Gbagbo meeting today in Ivory Coast. Here in the studio, Maxime Ricard, West Africa researcher at IRSEM, which is the Institute of Strategic Research at the École Militaire, for some analysis and some insight. Maxime, this is truly an historic moment for Ivory Coast.
Yes, it is an historic moment for sure. However, one should not overestimate the impact that this meeting can have. It really depends on the political will of the protagonists. They can either start a form of political dialogue, which could benefit to the country and to peace. But also there is the question of the sincerity of their motives in doing this meeting. So we can only wait to see really if there is any long-term impact of this meeting.
It is going to take more than just a handshake to create a kind of working peace between these two groups.
Absolutely, and also there is other protagonists and actors that should be included, such as Henri Konan Bédié, Guillaume Soro, and other members of the opposition, so that it's an inclusive process.
So the next presidential elections, if I'm not mistaken, are due in April 2022. Is there a danger that in spite of whatever happens here, even if it's positive, the bad feeling will resurface round about that time?
Yeah, the next presidential election will be in 4 years.
4 years, excuse me.
So basically, I would say that for now, the electoral deadlines are far away. So actually, it is the right moment, the moment is ripe to have this national dialogue, to talk about justice, transitional justice, reparation for victims. Because right now there is not the pressure of the political deadlines of elections. And so right now is the time for these protagonists to really, if they are sincere, to start something that has not happened in Côte d'Ivoire since the post-electoral crisis of 2010-2011, which is a genuine will to have a real reconciliation, not just a word, but something that has a real political meaning.
There's been 10 years of Ouattara in power. Before that, it was, I think, 10 years of Gbagbo in power. Yeah. Gbagbo's period marked by great division within the country. Mm-hmm. Have things improved under Ouattara?
I mean, the thing is that this reconciliation process was really mainly about forgetting. There was no, apart from a couple of gestures made a couple of years ago in 2018 by the current elites in power, there have been few, gestures to reconcile Ivoirians. So, of course, in the daily life for Ivoirians, the peace is a reality to some extent. But however, there is deep wounds that have not been dealt with. And there has not been any conversations about who is responsible for what, of what happened during the post-electoral crisis of 2010-2011, but as you said, also during the 10 years of civil war.
Gbagbo, of course, has been cleared by the International Criminal Court, hasn't he? So is he going to say, it wasn't me, it was the other man?
This is the thing. There is a need to be like a real sincere dialogue between the different political parties to acknowledge their responsibilities. But obviously, it's very unlikely.
Maxime, thank you very much indeed. Maxime Ricard, West Africa researcher at IRSEM, which is the Institute of Strategic Research at the École Militaire. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you.
We watch what happens in Ivory Coast between Alassane Ouattara and Laurent Gbagbo with great interest. Thanks again, sir, for your analysis.